to this computer. Wonderful. So officially welcome to module 3 of our topic, the entrepreneurial mindset, to really help you think like an entrepreneur. If you think like an entrepreneur, you will act like an entrepreneur, and then you'll have better business success. So that's kind of the idea behind this. If you think like an entrepreneur, you will act more entrepreneurially and have better business success. So this is our third module in the week. So let's do a little bit of just to say, all of these trainings is recorded, and I actually made a community page called meltonvdm.com when it's all about management, entrepreneurial leadership. That's all we have on the community page. So you'll see topics, and when we speak of management and entrepreneurial leadership, we have 5 specific topics that we're going to cover over and over from different angles. That's strategy, HR, finances, operations, and leadership. So that's the 5 things we're going to keep on covering. And then specific, we're not going to do it in a general way. We're covering it specific in the entrepreneurial space. So how does leadership look for an entrepreneur? And of course, then the other 4 aspects. So you're welcome to join our community page. And every now and then we have different groups, and you're welcome to join that and keep that as a resource. And then, of course, you are more than welcome to steer your teams, people that's on your team or people that join your business. Or as you grow your business, you're welcome to steer people this way. And those resources are them for free to help you while you help them. So you're welcome to do that. So maybe just from the first 2 weeks, we've said that a mindset determines our attitude and belief. So the foundation of a mindset is our attitude and beliefs. And the way we create a mindset is by changing our attitudes and beliefs. So in the first module, we spoke about how we develop our conviction and our passions based on our attitudes and beliefs. And in the second module, we said, if you can determine your attitude and belief, let's say, for instance, towards human resources, finances, you can actually create a specific mindset. What we also spoke about last week is the fact that certain situations requires certain mindsets or certain leadership. So you cannot just say, and I don't laugh at people, I actually get mad at them originally, and then I laugh at them if they say, well, this is just my personality. It's like, brother, sometimes you need a different personality because your personality doesn't work for this situation, you know, or this is my leadership style. I'm an authoritative leader. And sometimes that's not what's required because you're messing up your business by being that person. So we said the best leader has the ability to analyze a situation, determine what best leadership or mindset is required, and then execute that. Now, that is a good leader, and that's what we want to encourage you to do. So that's kind of the first 2 weeks. If I could summarize the first 2 weeks in 2 sentences, that would be the 2 sentences. And then please don't forget, you're going to miss 80% if you don't download the action templates. I put some time and effort into those templates, and that's where you make it applicable. That's where you use it in your own business, where it doesn't become just a presentation on Zoom generically, but it's actually where you say, oh, this is how I take these blocks and build it into my own business. So I really want to encourage you to do that. And then for those of you who don't know, we said every person, or the first 6 people that completes all 3 action templates and submit it back to me, we're actually going to have a private Zoom coaching session, if you want to call it. And we're going to go through some of your business stuff, some of your mindsets that we're going to really help you to make this practical. So after today, I will load the final template, and the first 6 people who does it, I'm going to set up a separate Zoom with you. And the 6 of us, or the 7 of us, we're just going to talk through some of these things and answer all your questions, and really make sure that you go to the next level with your business. So this is always a slide that I want you to have and remember that we said attitude determines eventually your passion, and your belief eventually your conviction. What you really believe in becomes your conviction. And if you have a good attitude continuously about something, that becomes your passion. And if you have a person that is passionate about a certain conviction, you've got a winner. you've got a successful person. That's the person that is totally unstoppable. So throwing in a quick question in the chat box, tell me quickly what's your passion? What are you completely passionate about and that you have a great conviction about as well? So if you were to take those things in the chat box, tell me what are you so passionate about and what some of your convictions, but it needs to be the same thing. I want to get to know some of you better. Where's the chat? So what are you completely passionate about and what are you convicted of? I don't see anything yet. Community connections, love it. Thanks, Tammy. Passionate about community connections. Anybody else? Don't be shy. Or, okay, I love helping people and in turn achieve my, thank you, changing people's lives for the better. I love it. Okay, that's a passion. Great. Somebody else. Passion, changing people's lives for the better. Passionate about making a success out of all venture I attempt. Love it, love it, love it. That's good. Conviction, being selfless. I like it. Thank you. Passionate about uplifting, positive, influencing people. Thank you, Jimmy and Honoree. Okay, always improving my life and that of others. Thank you, Franklin or Mac. Okay, so when you think through these things, you will see how what you're passionate about, you actually spend your time on as well. Because you're so passionate about it and you have the conviction about it. Let me just put this in the bottom screen. That will actually, a lot of your time will be determined by that. So I want us to continue today. Our third model is about identifying and overcoming obstacles for having a mindset, the required mindset for the required situation. So let's jump into that. So you can go and research this for yourself, but apparently in your brain, there is a little organ called a hippocampus. So that's the blue one right over here, the hippocampus. If you go and read up on it, that's the place that stores long-term memory. So there's some stories about somebody that had a lot of epileptic seizures. Seizures is the right word I was looking for. So what they did, they removed these hippocampus to see if that would help, and it helped. But what they didn't know, what happened, he had no ability to create new memories. So he had the old memories, able to eat, able to breathe, childhood memories. But because they removed that, they pretty much lived from day to day just because they were not able to create long-term memories. So that's the place where your long-term memories are stored in. And lots of times our memory goes hand in hand with the passion or emotion or the purpose or the meaning that we've placed on a specific event that has happened. So an event happens, you have a certain emotion around that event. Plus you place a certain meaning on that event, and that all of that is stored in the hippocampus. So for instance, if I were to wear a red shirt, and every time I see you, I throw you with a water balloon. All right. So I wear a red shirt and a red hat, for instance, and every time I see you, I throw you with a water balloon. You get mad. You don't like me for it. What's going to happen when you see a person in the street with a red shirt and a red hat? What's the thinking that's going to happen to you? You're going to think of, I wonder if that guy's going to throw me with a water balloon. Because in your hippocampus, read the event, the person with that emotion, and maybe you'll be immediately mad at this guy just because he's wearing a red shirt. Like, I hate you already because you're wearing a red shirt. It's not that he's wearing a red shirt. It's the connection that you have made in your brain between red shirt, emotion, getting wet. Okay. And we all have those experiences. Just for 30 seconds, get quiet in your own heart and just think of something that might have happened to you in your life, which you have just had a negative connection. They say in business, you need 10 positive actions for one negative experience a person has got. So if somebody walks into your store,
buys a donut, like we did yesterday. We went up Pikes Peak, bought a donut, and it was hard and it wasn't a good donut. I'm probably going to need to buy 10 more donuts before I really believe they're not selling bad donuts. So that's kind of the science behind it. For every one negative experience in your shop or with you, whatever business you're in, you're going to need to have 10 positive impacts just to level it up. Because you're making this connection of event versus experience. You create emotion to it. You create purpose with it. So here's a good sentence. It's not the things that we have done or that has happened to us that keep us bound. It's the lies associated with them that keeps us bound. So let's take my silly analogy of the red hat and the water balloon. You might now meet this person that's wearing this red shirt and red hat. You feel anger towards him because of your experience and your previous events. That event that might be not true about this person because he's not the guy that threw the water balloons might keep you from having a good relationship with him. We see this in family dynamics, people who has had a bad father, somebody that maybe, was abusive. They just don't like men. They don't want to get near men. Are all men like the father? No, he's not. But we're making these connections, which brings about a certain emotion, which gives us a certain mindset about a specific person or situation. You might have failed, and I have failed big time, probably 5 times in my life. And if you want to hear the stories, I'll tell you. But I've tried business ventures that just didn't work. On paper, it looked well. And I know at some point I was like, I'm just done with business. I don't think I'm going to do business again because my events told me that it's not working until I had a few successes, which was just as great, which I really appreciate. So don't believe the lies that life has taught you. Do we learn lessons from it? Of course. Will I do things differently? Of course. But I cannot make assumptions and believe lies, especially lies that's bounding. As soon as there's something that keeps you from becoming all you need to be, you need to address that issue. You need to overcome that issue because we are intended for success. We are intended for purpose. We are intended for fulfillment. That's why you do business. There's something that you want to accomplish through your business. You have certain goals, you have certain desires, you have certain dreams that you want to accomplish, but we need to make sure that we don't have bounding mindsets that will keep you from accomplishing those things. So let me share the next slide. So there are only 3 things in life that you can control. I promise you, only 3 things. It's your thoughts, your actions, and your feelings. You cannot control government. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control the economy. You cannot control, I cannot even control my wife. I cannot control her thoughts, her actions, and her feelings. The only thing you can control in life is your thoughts, your actions, and your feelings. And sometimes that is exactly what we need in order to change our perspective. I don't know about you, but I've sometimes found myself in a space where I'm totally stressed out. I don't know what to do. I feel depressed. I feel down. Then I go and find myself in an isolated space. So I'm a Christian, so I spend some time in his presence. I read my Bible, or whatever that might look like for you. But I come to a place where I change my thoughts. And then suddenly I feel different about it. And when I come out of that secluded space, it's almost like I feel better. I don't feel stressed. But did the situation change? The situations didn't change. My perspective changed. So as long as you can keep your thinking, your thoughts up and right and aligned, it will speak into your feelings, which will speak into your actions. So even if the situation doesn't differ at the moment, you can differ, and suddenly you have another perspective and you see light at the end of the tunnel, and you're able to take steps towards that just because you controlled one of the controllables. And these are the only controllables you can have. And this, honestly, when I saw this the first time, freed me. You cannot change another person. You cannot change your husband. You cannot change your wife. You cannot change your kids. You can help them and you can support them.
But you can change these feelings, thoughts, and actions. And what sometimes happens, or most of the time, when you change your thoughts, your feelings, and you change your actions, the person on the other side, because of your different actions, they start changing their thoughts, their feelings, and their actions towards you. And that's pretty much how it works. As you change, you cannot change other people, but they come to a place and a realization that they might start thinking differently about the job, the business, the team, which will in turn change their feelings and in turn change their actions. So it's called TFAs, just TFAs, thoughts, feelings, and actions. And that's honestly the three things that we can want to change if we want to change our mindset. So this is how it works. There's an event. That specific event, that's the man with the red shirt throwing balloons at you. There's an event that will stimulate or create a thought, which will in turn create a feeling, which will in turn make you act in a certain way. Maybe you just walk up and slap this guy with the red shirt because he's wearing a red shirt. All right, maybe that's your action. So that's kind of how things happen. Event triggers a thought, triggers a feeling, triggers an action. In order for you to have a different mindset, you need to capture this at the thought level. That's where you start. So if you think failure, if you think this won't work, if you think negativity, that's the place where you need to capture. That's the place of engagement. Because if you can change the thought, you can have a new feeling and a new action. And that happens when we change our perspective. If you come out of a place and you say, wait, how can I think about this differently? And ladies and gentlemen, there's always many sides. You always have a choice about your thought. I promise you that. You always have a choice of how you would like to think or how you should think. You can think the bad about people or you can think good about people. Again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't learn. If somebody's like the fifth time doing something just stupid that you hate all the time, learn from that. Maybe learn how you can handle the situation differently. Or maybe you learn that this is the kind of person I need to avoid because we're not just good chemistry for each other, whatever it might be. But you have a number of thoughts about one event. And then if you can capture the thought, you can change the thought, you can have a new feeling and a new action. And that is how we identify, and that's how we change our mindsets. Now, you can filter this through any place in life. This is good for relationships. This is good for just thinking about your own future. This is good for business. This is good for thinking about human resources, finances, any part of your business, any part of the entrepreneur. You can follow this same sequence and say, let me become aware. And that's something I said in the first module. I hope that this mindset will teach you just to raise your antennas, if I can put it like that, and create a constant awareness of your thoughts. Just by having an awareness, you can change it. But if you're not even aware of thoughts that's not conducive to you, you just kind of go through the motions and you go through life. But just creating an awareness and say, wait, why do I think like this? What would be a better way of thinking? And here's the question, how does that serve you? And many times I would ask this to my coaching clients. How does that serve you? They would come and say, I did this and this, and I think this and I think this. And then how does that thinking serve you? No, terrible, because it makes me depressed and stressed. Then why do you want to think like that? So creating an awareness of your thinking, knowing the effect it will have in your feelings, your emotions, that will eventually play out in your actions or what you do. Just creating that awareness and asking the question, how does this thought serve me? How does this thought serve my business? How will this kind of thinking help me to grow personally as a leader, as an entrepreneurial leader, or how will this thinking help me to grow my business? If it doesn't serve you, change it. Change it. Go and sit down and say, what are the thoughts I need to have that's going to serve me better, that's going to serve my business better, that's going to serve my team better, that's going to serve my staff better? Because at the end of the day, that is the thoughts that you would like or that you would want. Before I go to some practical exercises, is there any questions or comments that you want to drop in the chat? And then we can discuss those things first.
Okay, 30 seconds, then I'm going to continue. Anybody wants to, well, you know what, if you want, anybody want to make a comment, maybe unmute yourself and just instead of typing in the chat, that's maybe difficult, just tell us what your question or some of your thoughts. Going once, going twice. Okay, sold to me. Here we go. We'll go to the next one. Okay, I need you to take a picture of the screen because this is going to be our practical exercise. I'm going to, in my favorite groups, we're going to go into groups. And then what we're going to do, you're going to share with your group an event you experienced in business. So this doesn't need to be personal in the sense that personality-wise, just something you've done business, you're in business, or maybe you're currently employed, but you're hoping to get into business full-time. Just share an event or an experience in your business that gave you a specific way of thinking. So what thoughts do you associate with that event? What feelings are created by those thoughts or emotions? And how do you normally respond to those feelings? So something that you have experienced in business, that event, or the one time maybe it was a partner that lied to you or somebody that you feel just backstabbed you or anything like that. What thoughts do you associate with that event? What are the feelings that was created by those thoughts? And how do you normally respond now? Maybe you say, man, when somebody now says, man, can I be your partner in business? Or I'm looking for a partner. I just step away because, and then you can kind of run through the previous events. Then the next, or the part B, is what have you learned from that event? Because I never want us to do the same thing over and over again. You know, fool me once, what? Shame on me. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. You're a donkey. I don't know the rest of the thing. There's something like that. But so we want to learn from events. We don't want to redo it every single time. So what have you learned from that event? What are the alternative ways of thinking about that event? How else can you feel about the event? And what could some alternative actions look like? That's kind of the big question, all right? So first you'll have your current reality, and then you're going to discuss what will be the alternative to the situation. Is that clear? Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to break into groups of about 3. I'm going to give you 12 minutes. So that's 4 minutes per person. And if there's ladies in your group, they get another one. That's 5, all right? Because they've asked for more. So we're going to give about 12 minutes, and then we'll get out of the groups. But do these questions, and then we'll come back and just kind of get some feedback on how did it go. So let me go to this place. Breakout rooms, we'll have, okay, there we go. We're going to have 6 breakout rooms. So please accept. So you're going to be invited to this, and then you just accept it, all right? And then don't stop. We're going to come back and kind of finalize the entrepreneurial mindset. So 12 minutes, and I'll see you in 12 minutes. Make sure you accept the invitation. Resume recording. Okay, we're back from our breakout rooms. Just for the sake of the recording, we paused it, so everybody was out in the breakout rooms, and then we had some sharing just on some actions or some discussions we've had in the rooms, and it was super great. So I didn't record that. So we're back for the last slide. So what I need you to do next is go and download our 3rd template. All right, so it will be up in about 30 to 45 minutes from now. People not living in the US, you'll get it tomorrow. Go to bed when we're done with this. So go and download the action template. And then please remember the first 6 people that do all 3 action templates, we're going to set up a personal or individual Zoom, the 6 or 7 of us. And we're just going to maybe ask some deeper questions. And it will be your space to just kind of delve or jump deep into it. Our action template is about identifying current mindsets and thoughts, feelings, and action patterns. And then how do you develop a change action plan? How you change that thoughts, feelings, and actions, all right? So that's going to be the template. But then I'm super excited about October. Let me change it like this. So
September, October, so the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Monday of October, this is going to be our theme. Indiana Jones in the Entrepreneurial Adventure. And we're going to actually look at how do you scale mountains, how do you tackle beasts, and how do you overcome defeat. Just kind of as an adventure, as the entrepreneurial venture, there will always be a mountain that you're going to need to scale. There's always going to be beast stuff that you're going to need to tackle. And sometimes we feel defeat. And how do you overcome defeat? How do you overcome some of those dreams that hasn't happened yet? And just making sure on a good space. So I'm excited. It's going to be fun. We're going to play with some of these themes in the Indiana Jones movie. So Indiana Jones in the Entrepreneurial Adventure, it's going to be a trilogy. So it will be the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Monday. Again, this is open to everybody. We're going to make little promo videos. Please help us to promote this. In the long run, it's going to help you. Definitely, it's going to help your team. And you're setting yourself up for a better, successful business. And we're putting a lot of effort into this for you to make it happen. So that's going to be our October theme. And I almost think that's it. All right. So great. I will stop the recording.